Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Shinvata Sokata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantostho Yavadrani Vidunoti Suhishatam Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 8, verse 6 to 8. Verse 6. Athata kirtaye vamsam punya kirte kurudvaha swayambhuvasyapi manor harer amsam sajanmanaha. Synonyms. Atha, now, ataha, hereafter, kirtaye, I shall describe, Bamsam, dynasty, Punya Kirte, celebrated for virtuous activities, Kuru Udvaha, obeyed of the Kuru, Swayambhuvasya, of Swayambhuva, Api, even, Mano, of the Manu, Hare, of the personality of Godhead, Amsa, plenary expansion, Amsa, part of, Janmanaha, born of. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maitreya continued, O best of the Kuru dynasty, I shall now describe to you the descendants of Swayambhuva Manu, who was born of a part of plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: Lord Brahma is a powerful expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Brahma is Jiva Tattva, he is empowered by the Lord, and therefore he is considered a plenary expansion of the Supreme Godhead. Sometimes it happens that when there is no suitable living being to be empowered to act as Brahma, the Supreme Lord himself appears as Brahma. Brahma is the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Swayambhuva Manu was the direct son of Brahma. The great sage Maitreya is now going to explain about the descendants of this Manu, all of whom are widely celebrated for their pious activities. Before speaking of these pious descendants, Maitreya has already described the descendants of impious activities, representing anger, envy, unpalatable speech, quarrel, fear, and death. Purposely, therefore, he is next relating the history of the life of Dhruva Maharaj, the most pious king within this universe. Verse 7. प्रियव्रतोत्तानपादौ सतरूपापते सुतौ वासुदेवस्य कलया रक्ष्यायां जगतः स्थितौ. Synonyms. Priyavrata, Uttanapad, Satarupa Pate, of Queen Satarupa and her husband Manu, Sutau, the two sons, Vasudevasya, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kalaya, by plenary expansion, Rakshayam, for the protection, Jagataha, of the world, Sitau, for the maintenance. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Swayambhuva Manu had two sons by his wife Satarupa, and the names of the sons were Uttanapad and Priyabrat. Because both of them were descendants of a plenary expansion of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they were very competent to rule the universe, to maintain and protect the citizens. Purport: it is said that these two kings, Uttanapad and Priyabrat, were specifically empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unlike the great king Rishabh, who was the Supreme Personality of God himself. Verse 8. Jaya Uttanapadasya Suniti Suruchistayo Suruchi Priyasi Patyor Nitarayat Suto Dhruvaha. Synonyms. Jaya, of the two wives, Uttanapadasya, of King Uttanapad, Sunitihi, Suniti, Suruchihi, Suruchi, Tayo, of both of them, Suruchihi, Suruchi. Priyasi, very dear, Pati, of the husband, na itara, not the other, yat whose, sutah, son, dhruvaha, dhruva. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Uttanapad had two queens named Suniti and Suruchi. Suruchi was much more dear to the king, Suniti, who had a son. Suruchi was much more dear to the king. Suniti, who had a son named Dhruva, was not his favorite. Purport. The great sage Maitreya wanted to describe the pious activities of the kings. Priyabrat was the first son of Swayambhuva Manu, and Uttanapad was the second. But the great sage Maitreya immediately began to speak of Dhruva Maharaj, the son of Uttanapad, because Maitreya was very eager to describe pious activities. The incidents in the life of Dhruva Maharaj are very attractive for devotees. From his pious actions, one can learn how one can detach himself from material possessions and how one can enhance one's devotional service by severe austerities and penances. By hearing the activities of pious Dhruva, one can enhance one's faith in God and can directly connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus, one can very soon be elevated to the transcendental platform of devotional service. The example of Dhruva Maharaj's austerities can immediately generate a feeling of devotional service in the hearts of the hearers. End of purport. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नमिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशताने जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. I'm seeking blessings from all assembled Vaishnavas, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam to purify myself. I'll summarize the three slokas. I've collected few points from lecture given by His Holiness Sri Srimad Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj. So here Maitreya Muni is going to tell Vidura about expansions of the dynasty of Manu. But we have to understand why this description of dynasty is given here and why we need to know all this. Actually, everything is given so we can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead better and like how powerful is the Lord. So in one day of Brahma, 14 Manus come. It's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 20.320. ब्रह्मार एक दिन है 14 मनवंतरा 14 अवतार तहा करे न ईश्वर. In one day of Brahma, there are 14 changes of the Manus. And during the reign of each of those 14 Manus, an incarnation is manifested by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can understand from whole lifespan of Brahma, how many Manus are coming. The ruling period of Manu is known as Manvantaras. Here it is mentioned that Swayambhuva Manu is the plenary expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Out of 14 Manus, so now we are in the 7th Manvanantara. The 7th Manvanantara is going on. So the present Manu is Vaivashvat Manu. Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 4, Chapter 30, verse 49 describes in details about all the 14 Manus. I'll just give a brief description of that. The various Manus existing in one day of Lord Brahma are as follows. The first is Swayambhuva Manu, which is mentioned here in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Second is Swarachisa Manu, then Uttama, Tamasha, Raivata. Sixth is Chakshusha. Seventh is Vaivashvata. Now we are in the seventh Vaivashvat Manu is ruling now. So then eighth is Savarni. Then ninth Daksha Shavarni. 10th is Brahma Shavarni. 11th is Dharma Shavarni. 12th is Rudra Savarni. 13th is Deva Savarni. And 14th is Indra Savarni. And there are actually 6 types of avatars of the Lord, like Leela Avatar, Guna Avatar, Sakyavesh Avatar, Purusha Avatar, Yuga avatar and Manvantara avatar. So there are 14 Manvantara avatar in one day of Brahma. Again in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 20, verse 325 to 325, describes the names of the 14 avatars in the 14 Manvantara. So actually there are 14 Manvantara, and again in each Manvantara there is like one avatara of the Lord. It's very nicely described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. In the Swayambhuva Manvantara, so you see the first Manvantara is Swayambhuva Manvantara. In the Swayambhuva Manvantara, the avatara name is Yagya. In the Sarachisa Manvantara, the avatara name is Bibhu. In Uttama Manvantara, it is named Satyashena. In Tamasa Manvantara, it's Hari. In Raivata Manvantara, the avatara name is Vaikuntha. In Chakshusa Manvantara, the name is Ajita. In Vaivashwat Manvantara, which is the current Manvantara, the name is Bhamana. And in the Savanya Manvantara, the name is Sarvabhauma. In Daksha Savanya Manvantara, it is Vrishava. Brahma Savanya Manvantara, the avatara name is Vishwakshena. In Dharma Savanya is Dharma Shetu. Rudra Savanya, the name is Sudhama. Deva Savanya, the name is Yogeshwara. And in Indra Savanya Manvantara, the avatara name is Brihadvanu. So these are the names of the 14 avatars in the 14 Manvantaras. During the ruling period of Manu, one Manvantara avatar comes. This is all about Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the source of all incarnations. The Lord is Avatari. He is the source of all the avatars. This is given to understand, all this description is given to understand about the Supreme Lord. So here it is mentioned that Lord Brahma is a powerful expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Brahma is Jiva Tattva, he is empowered by the Lord, and therefore he is considered a plenary expansion of the Supreme Godhead. So sometimes it happens that when there is no suitable living being to be empowered to act as Brahma, the Supreme Lord himself appears as Brahma. So Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara are the Guna avatars of the Lord. Brahma is Jiva Tattva, but Lord Vishnu is not Jiva Tattva, it's Vishnu Tattva. So when Supreme Lord himself appears as Brahma, that Brahma is not Jiva Tattva, that's Vishnu Tattva. Brahma has, we know from the scriptures that Brahma has 55 qualities. All Vishnu Tattva possess 60 qualities, but Lord Krishna, he possesses 64 qualities unlimitedly. So because in Lord Krishna there are 4 special qualities. What are those special qualities? That is Benu Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, Rati Madhuri, and Leela Madhuri. It's not found anywhere except Krishna, because Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. You see, all these 4 qualities, they're very special, they're found in Krishna only. So Swayambhuva Manu has 3 daughters, Akuti, Prasuti, and Debahuti, and we already covered this part, and they're like their descendants. And Swayambhuva Manu has 2 sons, Priyabrat and Uttanapada. So Uttanapada has 2 wives, Suruchi and Suniti. Uttama was son of Suruchi, and Dhruva Maharaj was son of Suniti. The great sage Maitreya immediately began to speak of Dhruva Maharaj, because it is mentioned because Maitreya is very eager to describe past activities. In verse, we see in verse 4, in verse 8, Srila Prabhupada describes that the incidents in the life of Dhruva Maharaj are very attractive for devotees. From his pious actions, one can learn how one can detach himself from material possessions and how one can enhance one's devotional service by severe austerities and penances. Dhruva Maharaj, we all know that Dhruva Maharaj's story from Srimad Bhagavatam, it is so like almost everyone knows about the story of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj was a 5-year-old boy when, so I'll just give a very small description, because in the next verses we are going to cover everything in detail. When Dhruva Maharaj, he was trying to sit on his father's lap, Suruchi, out of her great pride and envy, spoke very harsh words to Dhruva Maharaj. She said, Dhruva Maharaj, that to sit in his father's lap, he has to take birth from her womb. Dhruva Maharaj was so disappointed and angry because his father even did not tell anything. So, after getting instructions when he came back to his mother, Suniti like suggested, and she gave two instructions. One is to not to think ill about ill about Suruchi, and she also suggested Dhruva Maharaj to go and to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because she don't have also any solution to Dhruva's problem. So she suggested him to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the Lord has all the solutions to all the problems. And under the guidance, so Dhruva Maharaj left home, and under the guidance of his spiritual master Narada Muni, he undergone severe austerity for 6 months. What actually Dhruva Maharaj did in these 6 months? For the first month, Dhruva Maharaj ate only fruits and berries on every third day, only to keep his body and soul together. In the second month, Dhruva Maharaj ate only every 6 days, and for his eatables, he took dry grasses and leaves. In the third month, he drank water only every 9 days. In the fourth month, Dhruva Maharaj became a complete master of the breathing exercise, and thus he inhaled air only every 12th day. By the fifth month, Dhruva Maharaj, the son of the king, had controlled his breathing so perfectly that he was able to stand on only one leg, just as a column stands, without motion, and concentrate his mind fully on the Parabrahman. So, by the 6 months, he completely controlled his senses and their objects, and in this way, he fixed his mind without diversion to anything else upon the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when Dhruva Maharaj has captured the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the refuse of the total material creation and who is the master of all living entities, the three worlds begin to tremble. We'll read all these things now, how severe austerity Dhruva Maharaj has gone through. We'll read in details in next verses, but I'm a little bit very excited about Dhruva Maharaj's story. So I just took, the summary from like the upcoming verses. Dhruva Maharaj's Katha actually is one of my favorite part from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is actually ripened mango. So from wherever we eat, it's so tasty. But few things from from Srimad Bhagavatam are very dear to me. Dhruva Maharaj's Katha is one of that. So by hearing Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in this verse 8 that by hearing the activities of pious Dhruva, one can enhance one's faith in God and can directly connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus one can very soon be elevated to the transcendental platform of devotional service. The example of Dhruva Maharaj's austerities can immediately generate a feeling of devotional service in the hearts of the hearers. That's so true. I'd like to stop here. Please forgive me if I have spoken anything out of my mental speculation. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam today to purify myself. Granthra